Hey everyone, this is Alex, the founder and host of Tiger Talk Podcast. In today's episode, we're talking about SEC Media Day, specifically Brian Kelly and company. We're also going to be talking about Jay Johnson and LSU baseball and kind of closing that door onto the 2025 season, which opens the door to the MLB draft. Also, we're talking about the MLB All-Star Game. I'm excited about this episode. Let's get into it. Alrighty, everyone. My name is Alex, again, the host of Tiger Talk Podcast. I'm also going to introduce to you my other two co-hosts. You may hear them in the background, Aria and Dallas. Those are my two cats. They're pretty playful, and right now they're kind of just everywhere in the living room and outside on the balcony. So if you hear meows in the background, please excuse that noise. Again, y'all, thank you so much. Just bear with me. Beginning steps of podcasting. I'm my own writer. I'm my own producer, and etc. But nonetheless, let's get into it. I want to talk about SEC Media Days and Brian Kelly and company. So Brian Kelly has not shied away from championship expectations that he has for LSU. He really put it in last season, the end of last season, and I quote, he said he's taking receipts and he'll see you in the national title game. That is some heavy wording. You have to back that up. And as we kicked off the 2025 SEC Media Days, Brian Kelly and Garrett Nussmeier, Whit Weeks, and Chris Hilton Jr., they were all lined up for day one to start off SEC Media Days. And I'm not going to go in depth with each coach. There's a lot of media out there that has done just a much better job to do that. But I really want to kind of hone in on just Brian Kelly and etc. He said that it's a championship expectation team. He acknowledged the high expectations that come with coaching at LSU and made it clear that a playoff or bust is a mindset is in place. Kelly also emphasized that the team has addressed its defensive shortcomings by utilizing the transfer portal to bring in championship-level depth. And you can hear Aria in the background. She agrees. Guys, I'm an LSU fan that does not see it as LSU football going into championship or bust. No. Do I believe LSU has championship qualities, and there was glimpses of that? Absolutely. And I'm going to go a little bit deeper into Garrett Nussmeier and his main focus. But as far as a whole for championship expectations, I think the two realistic goals that need to be in front of this team, and I think Brian Kelly and company have made it very clear what their mental goals are to really hone in on, is number one, we have to win this season opener. I think that's crucial for LSU, and Brian Kelly has been hearing it. Ever since Brian Kelly got hired, he has been 0-3 in season openers. The last time LSU won a season opener was under Coach O and Joey B and etc. in that 2019 national championship year that they had. And of course, all of that was an anomaly and just so much star power. And I know Brian Kelly is tired of hearing that, but it's true. So under Brian Kelly, we've been 0-3 in season openers, and I think LSU has to win that season opener. Number two, I feel like, in my own opinion, LSU football, they have to get over the hump of going 9 and whatever. Will there be an SEC team that goes 9-3 in the playoffs? I don't know. I really don't. But LSU has to get over that hump of 9-2, 9-3, or etc. LSU has to win 10 games. LSU has to win 10 games and then make it to the playoff. And once you're in the playoff, then I truly feel like the mindset has to start over again. Okay, It's anyone's ball game, so to speak, once you're in the playoffs. Excuse me. So that's how I feel about it. But Brian Kelly made it very clear about the championship expectations. And yes, when you come play football at LSU, your goals are to win national championships, period. I'm not shying away from the fact that LSU can't do that. LSU has the talent. You've heard Brian Kelly, you've heard Garrett Nussmeier, you've heard Whit Weeks, and you've heard Chris Hilton Jr. all say the camaraderie. Garrett Nussmeier has even quoted that this is the closest team that he's been a part of at LSU. Okay, you have to, you say these heavy wordings, these heavy quotes, now you have to back this up. And I do believe a caliber of what makes national championship teams, period. You look at when LSU baseball won the national championship, their camaraderie was off the charts. And for LSU to really re-emphasize the camaraderie that they have, that is definitely a glimpse of what I do believe is instilled in the culture to make a national championship team. Number 2, I want to talk about Garrett Nussmeier, because he is an all-season quarterback. He's coming back. And side note, why they have preseason for Lenore Sellers over Garrett Nussmeier, I think it's insanity, but I digress. But Garrett Nussmeier, one thing Garrett Nussmeier said at the Manning Passing Academy that has really stood out to me, he said that he has initiative on his own, taking clips of all his mistakes from last season and really studied that. He said at SEC Media Days about the importance of he discussed the importance to limit turnovers while creating his own legacy. Separate from the successful quarterbacks who came before him, Garrett Nussmeier really made it pungent. Listen, that he cannot make the same mistakes that he did last year. And I truly believe if he does not make those same mistakes like he does last year, I can see Garrett Nussmeier leading the offense and top in the SEC. Of course, we talked about the season opener. That's crucial. Nussmeier spoke highly of the team's wide receiver room, noting their speed and depth with new transfers like Barian Brown and Nick Anderson joining the mix. The team's reliance on the transfer portal to build depth and address weaknesses, particularly on defense, was also a key topic. And I would also say this. Whit Weeks and Chris Hilton. Weeks highlighted the camaraderie of the team and praised fellow linebacker Harold Perkins, who is returning from a knee injury. Chris Hilton has also echoed those same things with the camaraderie of the LSU football team. And guys, I need to see that play out game 1 of Clemson and the whole year. So to hear that they are really close like that, and I haven't heard that really in unison in years past, something that I definitely keep an eye on. So, LSU football is not far away at all. We're coming into the end of July, and then we'll hit August. August is also your girl's birthday month, specifically August 17th. Going into the football season, I think I'm going to do Thursdays. I'm going to do my pregame podcast on Thursdays for every single week for LSU football. And on Sundays, I'm going to have all my postgame and postgame reactions. I was thinking about doing a podcast immediately after the game, but I also think depending on how the game goes, my emotions, regardless if we win or lose, is always high, and I really just need to simmer that down and sleep on it so I can really get a true analytical viewpoint of the game. So be watching out for that. So football is in full swing. Brian Kelly if I had to put it in one word, with Brian Kelly, Whit Weeks, Chris Hilton, and Garrett Nussmeier, is not just a confidence, but this is the key word, a maturity of confidence, a mature confidence that I haven't seen personally. I feel like Brian Kelly has really made some major moves and had really owned up to his mistakes, even if he hasn't verbalized those things. But by rehiring some staff at LSU, that even though Brian Kelly let them go, for them to come back, I think says a lot about the confidence that this staff has for LSU football and the vision that they're taking it to, and for LSU to win a national championship. In my perfect world, I would love for LSU to win a national championship, and I would love for Garrett Nussmeier to win the Heisman. Those are big asks, but everything would have to fall into place. But if the team is as truly close as Brian Kelly, Garrett, Chris, and Whit has said at SEC Media Days, I think that is a huge step in going in the right direction of, okay, we need to take care of Clemson, we need to take care of each game, and we need to get this team into the NCAA playoff. Kind of switching gears here, let's go to the 2025 MLB draft. So the MLB draft saw a number of LSU baseball players and signees selected, with several players being chosen on day one. The Tigers had a strong showing, with both their current roster and incoming signees being highly sought after by the pro team. So I'm just going to give a quick summary of the LSU players signed with the NFL draft. Cade Anderson, left-handed pitcher, the highest pick for LSU. Cade Anderson was selected by the Seattle Mariners with the 3rd overall pick in the first round. Please excuse the noise in the background. That is my cat, Aria. She will be 2 here within the next month, and she has the zoomies. Let's get back to it. Chase Shores, right-handed pitcher. The Los Angeles Angels drafted Chase Shores in the 2nd round with the 47th overall pick. Anthony Ianson, the right-handed pitcher. The Boston Red Sox selected Ianson in the 3rd round at 87th overall. I am really looking forward to Anthony Ianson being in Boston, and I would love to see him play in the pros and catch a game. Ethan Fry, an outfielder. One thing about Ethan Fry, I was hoping that he would come back, but I understand, he got drafted to the Houston Astros, which Baton Rouge from Houston. Houston is a massive LSU alumni city. I don't blame him. He was drafted in the 3rd round with the 95th overall pick. One of my favorite transfer players, Daniel Dickinson, second baseman. The Milwaukee Brewers took Dickinson in the 6th round at 185th overall. And then Jared the Bear Jones, first baseman, a powerful hitter for the Tigers. Jared Jones was selected by the Pittsburgh Pirates in the 9th round at the 263rd overall. Jacob Mayers, right-handed pitcher, the Boston Red Sox drafted in the 9th round at 268th overall, making him the 2nd LSU player taken by the Red Sox in the draft. Cade Woods, right-handed pitcher. Cade Woods was chosen by the Atlanta Braves in the 10th round at 307th overall. Connor Ware, left-handed pitcher. The New York Mets drafted Connor Ware in the 15th round at 463rd overall. LSU signees drafted. The draft also significantly impacted LSU's incoming recruiting class, with several top signees being selected in the early rounds and likely to begin their pro careers. This includes players like Brady Ebel for the Milwaukee Brewers, 1st round, Jaden Foskey, the Chicago White Sox in the 2nd round, Quentin Young, the Minnesota Twins for the 2nd round, and Dean Moss for Tampa Bay Rays in the 2nd round. So that's crucial too. But with that being said, LSU also has returning players. With the MLB draft, LSU has a clear picture of the 2026 baseball roster, a much clearer picture, with some key players returning to Baton Rouge and a number of highly touted recruits who will be joining the team. The Tigers' success in the draft means they will have to replace several key contributors, but they've already secured commitments from talented players to fill those roles. One thing with Jay Johnson and Nate Yeskie and his staff, I do not question Jay Johnson at all whatsoever. So here's a current summary of current status of LSU baseball players who are returning, which is huge. So key players returning: Zach Cowan, right-handed pitchers. One of the most important returners, I think, for the Tigers. Cowan's decision to come back to LSU after going undrafted is a major boost for the pitching staff. He was a dependable reliever in 2025 and a strong candidate for a starting role in 2026. And guys, I think this is also huge. The entire starting outfield, LSU's outfield, will remain intact for the 2026 season. Chris Stanfield posted on social media that he is coming back. That is huge. Derek Curiel, outfielder, named D1 Baseball National Freshman of the Year. Curiel is an elite talent who will be a cornerstone of the offense. My favorite player, Jake Brown, outfielder, reliable presence in the outfield and at the plate. Brown is also set to return. Chris Stanfield, just mentioned that. He is returning, and that's huge. He's a key player for the entire starting outfield to return. Other returning position players: Stephen Milam, infielder, a key player in the infield. Cade Arambini, with the potential to be a great catcher. Arambini's development is crucial for the team's future, but I think some of the developmental kinks is definitely going to get straightened out for sure. John Pearson, outfielder, another returning outfielder with powerful potential. Returning pitchers: Kason Evans, right-handed pitcher, projected as a potential Friday starter for the Tigers. Cooper Williams, left-handed pitcher, provides a left-handed option out of the bullpen. William Schmidt, right-handed pitcher, a highly touted arm who can make a jump in his development. Jaden Newt, a right-handed pitcher, and Gavin Guidry, a right-handed pitcher. Both have a redshirt year to use, giving them flexibility and an opportunity to develop, which is huge. And also, I was just talking to this player on the phone with my dad. He actually said that I think he tore his ACL, but Devin Shireen, a right-handed pitcher, I think he was out all last year with a torn ACL, if I have that right, but he is returning, so that is huge. Again, I do not question Jay Johnson whatsoever. Just briefly go over the new commits and transfers. So, Danny Lachenmeyer, a left-handed pitcher transfer from North Dakota State. Braden Simpson, an infielder from High Point University with a powerful bat. Seth Dardar, an infielder from Kansas State. Ryler Smart, a left-handed pitcher transfer from Tennessee. San Diego Garcia, a left-handed pitcher from a relief pitcher from Oregon. Dax Dave, a right-handed pitcher from Division II San Angelo State, who will use his final year of eligibility with the Tigers. There's also been more. There's a kid who is from Grand Canyon University. He's a big fella. He also played first baseman at Grand Canyon, so I'm really interested to see him. High school commits: LSU has a top-ranked recruiting class once again with Reagan Ricken, a right-handed pitcher, and Omar Serena, a catcher. So, again, guys, Jay Johnson and his team have a vision, and they want to go out and win another national championship. And yes, they lost some key players in the draft, but just like that, they are refilling those positions, and I think now we're just kind of closing that door to LSU baseball. I trust Jay Johnson and his staff. They have a vision, and they know where they're going. They've been there before. So, just, again, what an incredible year. I never get tired of rewatching highlights, etc., about LSU baseball and them winning title number 8 in Omaha. I don't take these championships for granted. I think some LSU fans can, but I don't. I truly don't. And I love what Jay Johnson's doing, and they're just reloading, and I look forward to next season. Gonna kind of slowly transition here to the New Orleans Saints. I'm going to do some more stuff on the Saints when August hits. But significant change for 2025 for the Saints. Again, a new head coach in Keelan Moore, new offense and defensive coordinators. Key players on offense: quarterback, running back, wide receiver, offensive line. Key players on defense. The defense is a mixture of established veterans and promising young players. Cam Jordan continues to be a leader on the edge, and team signed veteran Chase Young to an expensive contract. The interior features Brian Brzee and Christian Boyd. Linebackers, Demario Davis, a longtime leader and still a core part of the defense. Secondary. The secondary is highlighted by veteran safety Tyrann Mathieu. Rookie cornerback Kool-Aid McKinstry is a new promising addition to the defensive backfield. I'm really looking forward to Kool-Aid McKinstry's playing time. So with the Saints and the NFL doing their things on their end to start up their season with preseason and etc., you have a lot of mainstream media, I've seen it, say don't watch the Saints this coming up year. They're going to win one game. They're going to win 2 games. They're going to be winning 3 games. I don't necessarily think that's true. Now, is the Saints going to go completely undefeated? No, but I also don't think that they're going to be winning only 2 to 3 games. I think if some things click early for Keelan Moore and staff and company, we can see a little bit of a glimpse of a run. I don't see the Saints going to the playoffs, but I will say this: nothing's impossible. Nothing's impossible. Want to give just a quick glaze over the MLB standings and as of where we currently are as of right now. My apologies. Ari is being a menace, and those with cats know that they can definitely be a menace at the wrong time, for sure. Okay, so MLB. As of today, July 20th, the MLB season is past the All-Star break, and the top teams are solidifying their positions while others are making moves to get into the playoff picture. So I just want to go over a quick summary of the current MLB standings. Top-tier contenders and division leaders. The Detroit Tigers are AL Central leaders. The Tigers continue to impress, holding the best record in the American League. They've been a consistent force and are looking to reinforce their pitching as the trade deadline approaches. And trade deadline, for the MLB, I believe is very crucial. The Chicago Cubs are NL Central leaders. The Cubs are having a fantastic season, boasting one of the best records in the National League. Their strong offense and a surprisingly deep bullpen have made them a legitimate threat. The Los Angeles Dodgers, NL West leaders. Despite some injuries, the Dodgers remain a top contender with the best record in the National League. They are still seen as a World Series or bust team and are expected to get healthier as the season progresses and pause. Who I believe is going to be in the World Series, I believe it's going to be the Los Angeles Dodgers and the New York Yankees again. The Houston Astros, the AL West leader, even with significant injuries and departures, the Astros continue to win. I know that makes my dad happy. He's a massive Astros fan. Their pitching staff has been particularly strong, keeping them at top of a competitive AL West. The Milwaukee Brewers, the Brew Crew, NL Central contender / wild card. The Brewers are on a hot streak, closing the gap in the NL Central. Their consistent performance and recent winning ways have propelled them into being top tier. Other strong contenders, the Philadelphia Phillies are NL East leader. The Phillies are leading a competitive NL East primarily driven by a strong starting pitching. New York Mets are NL East contender / wild card. The Mets are right in the thick of the NL East race, powered by a strong offense, even with some pitching injuries. The Toronto Blue Jays are AL East leader. The Blue Jays have extended expectations and are leading the always tough AL East, surprising many with their strong performance. The New York Yankees, AL East contender / wild card. The Yankees remain a powerhouse. Despite losing some key players, their offense led by Aaron Judge keeps them highly competitive. Now the Boston Red Sox, they are AL wild card contender. The Red Sox have been on a surge, winning multiple games in a row and putting themselves firmly in the wild card picture. Really keeping my eye on the Boston Red Sox because of their dominance. AL Central dominance. The Detroit Tigers are a standout in the American League, enjoying a significant lead in their division. NL Central battle. The Chicago Cubs and the Milwaukee Brewers are locked in a tie rate for the NL Central title. Injuries and replacements. Many top teams are dealing with significant injuries, but their depth and strategic use of the transfer portal or strong farm system are allowing them to maintain high levels of play. Trade deadline focus. With the season past the All-Star break, the focus is shifting to the trade deadline, where contenders will look to bolster their rosters for a playoff push. So, with that being said, guys, it is crucial that I personally keep an eye on just MLB, period. Overall, both leagues feature strong frontrunners and a tight wild card battle as teams push for playoff bursts in the second half of the season. The current wild card leaders are the Milwaukee Brewers, New York Mets, and San Diego Padres. So that's looking interesting also. Also want to kind of just briefly go over the MLB All-Star Game. I'm not the one to, always watch the All-Star Game, but when the All-Star Games decide to put players back in their home team jerseys that they're representing, I just think it gives it much more of a nostalgic feel. So I just want to go over the All-Star Game with a thrilling comeback and an unprecedented tie-breaking quote-unquote swing-off. The game's flow. NL dominance early. The National League initially took a commanding lead, going up 6-0 through the middle innings. Highlights for the NL include a 3-run home run from Pete Alonso and a solo shot from Corbin Carroll. NL starter Paul Skeens of the Pittsburgh Pirates also impressed, showing off his electric fastball and recording 2 of the fastest strikeouts for an all-star starter in recent memory. AL comeback. The American League mounted a furious rally in the later innings, chipping away at the deficit. They scored 4 runs in the 7th inning and tied the game at 6-6 in the top of the 9th, making it the largest comeback in All-Star Game history to tie or take the lead. Key hits for the AL included an RBI double from Bobby Witt Jr. and a game-tying single from Stephen Kwan. An historic swing-off. With the game tied after 9 innings and both teams having depleted their pitching staffs, the All-Star Game became the first ever to be decided by a home run derby-style swing-off. Each league selected 3 hitters who got 3 swings. And in my personal opinion, I wish that was just across the board with the MLB. Instead of, when you go into extra innings, it's decided by a swing-off. So the swing-off and the MVP. The National League prevails. The National League ultimately out-homered the American League 4-3 in the swing-off to secure a 7-6 victory. Kyle Schwarber's heroics. The hero of the swing-off and the game's MVP was the Philadelphia Phillies' Kyle Schwarber. Sorry, his last name is always a tongue twister to me. Despite going 0 for 2 with a walk in the actual game, Schwarber blasted 3 home runs on 3 of his swings in the tiebreaker, sealing the win for the NL. He became the first non-pitcher in All-Star game history to win MVP without getting a hit in the game itself. I think other notable moments was that Hank Aaron's tribute and also high viewership. The game garnered significant attention with a combined 7.2 million viewers tuning in and viewership peaking at 8.1 million. So, guys, with that being said, we've been in the thick of things coming into the end of July, transitioning to August. SEC Media Days is over. We're closing the door on LSU baseball. The All-Star game is over, so we have Major League Baseball really coming into the grind of the season, so to speak, and around the corner is football starting and the NFL. I'm really looking forward to starting August. August is always my favorite month because August 17th is your girl's birthday. And that also means football season is closer. Also, with August and coming into September and October, we get to see a clearer picture of Major League Baseball, who is going to be in the wild card races, who is going to the playoffs, and who's going to be in the World Series. Again, my personal opinion, I think it's going to be a repeat of the Yankees and the Dodgers in the World Series, but we shall see. A lot on the horizon. Again, guys, thank you so much. All links will be in the description. You can follow this podcast wherever you get podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, whatever. Wherever you get podcasts, you can get Tiger Talk. You can also follow me on social media, AlexGirl95 on my Twitter handle /X. All social media links will be in the description below. Guys, thank you so much. And also, I don't want to forget this also either. Something that I think is just very crucial. I didn't want to go into in depth for each coach for SEC Media Days because that's a lot, to be honest with you. But I will say this. I think a dark horse could be Mike Elko and company with Texas A&M. And that is a team that I wouldn't take lightly. LSU gets to play at home versus Texas A&M, and I hope the TV stations do LSU right and it being a night game because we had to play in College Station at night. I hope our game is at night also. I really want LSU to see revenge in that game. And I also want to see LSU take revenge in Florida. I think Florida also is another team. If a lot of things have to click right for Florida, Florida could be rolling on all cylinders. But I think it's crucial to note with this coming up season for NCAA football, it's the talk of the quarterbacks. DJ Lagway, Lenore Sellers, Arch Manning, Garrett Nussmeier, Diego Pavia. I go back to what Brian Kelly said about Garrett Nussmeier. Again, you have all the hype of Arch Manning. You have all the hype of Simmons as a quarterback for Ole Miss. All the hype of Lenore Sellers and etc. And no disrespect to them, but like what Brian Kelly said, and I want to end this on this. Garrett Nussmeier has played a full season in the SEC. Arch Manning has not. Arch Manning starts his first game in the Horseshoe at Ohio State, who are defending national championship. I'm not saying that Arch in Texas is going to have an awful season. No, I believe they're going to go in the playoffs. I do. But when it comes to on-field play time and experience, I'm going to go back with Garrett Nussmeier, period. So I think may all the chips fall where they may, but the experience, I go with Garrett Nussmeier. All right, guys, till next time, Please hit the like button, follow the podcast, and we're getting closer to some SEC football. Till next time, guys. Thank you.